Hey there, Toonami faithful, and welcome back aboard Toonami Absolution, where we talk about the shows that made us us and made you you. Once again, we are your hosts. My name is Alex.
I'm Sam.
And I'm John, G.I. Joe Spy Troops.
Why'd you
Made
pick it?
So my hobby when we were in the background has been gathering up all the stuff that's quite hard to find. So we have it when we need it, and we don't end up doing all of it at the end. So I got this, and when I get these things, what I do is I skim through them to make sure they all work and it's not like a dodgy copy. I saw the mid frame, this, saw the animation, and went, "What in the hell is this thing?" I was like, "Okay, I just want to get this out of the way." The animation for this film is very weird. It looks like small soldiers with the budget cut.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, especially with the white-haired leads. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Also, if you've ever used the website Hero Forge, which is like to make your own custom miniatures, it looks like the default kind of bulky guy they have for that.
Yeah.
I'm I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I really liked it.
This film is entirely saved by it only being 40 minutes. It's even like all its flaws is only 40 minutes. So by the time you're going to get to the point of, okay, it's ended.
I wonder, I mean, I know it got a sequel, but I wonder if it was supposed to be a pilot for an animated series that never took off. So they're like, because it feels like an overlong episode of something.
It's technically an OVA.
Oh.
So here's a fun thing. So this released on September 27th, 2003. Originally, the way you got it was by buying a 2-pack of Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes. It came with them, or sending off coupons from the toys to get the VHS. Cartoon Network would show it on September 27th, 2003, and then Toonami would get it on January 2004. But basically, they had done the real entertainment who'd made a load of adverts for them in CG. Hasbro went, "Can you just make a full-length one that we can throw in the box of the toys?" They went, "Sure." This is technically its own continuity, which is why a lot of this is being introduced, because a lot of these guys were technically new for the line.
So it's a toy thing. Like top to bottom, it's a toy thing.
This is why every time they mention a vehicle, they have to say its entire name.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like
I
we're
was
under
wondering
attack,
about
but
that.
you've got to keep going. You've got to say, "Or yeah, everything on this you can buy." Yeah,
How much do you
buy.
think those toys are worth now?
Surprisingly, not very much.
Really? Because a lot of those earlier GI, like those early 2000s GI Joes, are going for a lot more these days.
Apparently, Spy Troopers are cheap. I was looking at eBay, but they're. I mean, I don't think they're. From what I can tell, and keep in mind, I know very little about GI Joe. It seems that all of these figures were then later put in other lines. There doesn't seem to be like any original kind of special figures for this, so that might be part of the reason.
Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting because there weren't any names I didn't recognize right away in this. Like they all sounded like GI Joes that I remembered from being a kid. So if they added anybody new, then
I think
I missed it.
I think Agent Faces might be the new guy.
Yeah.
Who was great. I like Agent Faces because the person I was watching this with joked, "Do you think his name is spelled like feces, but he just puts an accent on it so people stop bullying him?" I was like,
Faces.
yeah,
But
faces.
Hyacinth bouquet, Hyacinth bucket kind of deal.
but I do have to admit, I actually really enjoyed this. I like campy stuff. We all know this about me, and GI Joe is kind of the height of camp when it's done well. Like you have Cobra Commander and all these Cobra Commander is the best character in GI Joe all the time, always. But I like how high camp a lot of GI Joe is, and this really captures that energy.
Yeah, Cobra Commander's role in this film is just to scream at objects, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, give commands to his subordinates and immediately yell at them while they're still standing, because literally even if it's the same sentence when he does that. Also, we get a Scott McNeil. We get a perennial favorite. Scott McNeil's here.
Scott McNeil is back. Was this made by a Canadian company?
I don't know. Oh, is it? Yeah, okay. He just appears then. You don't even hire him. He's already in the booth.
Anytime anything is animated in Canada, Scott McNeil is going to be there.
Yeah.
The government sends you like, "You are hiring Scott, right?
Yeah.
He's our main export."
You have Justin Trudeau on the phone being like, "Get me Scott."
For me, the animation did remind me a lot of, we've been doing another Paramount property throughout all this, which is to say Transformers, and it does kind of feel like it's they've always kind of been sister series. It's always interesting when they like cross over, like in the latest Transformers movie. But yeah,
They
it
do
does kind of
crossovers a lot. They do a
yeah,
lot of
yeah.
crossovers.
So it kind of reminded me of that, especially with the opening sequence where they're like fighting in the desert and there's just a lot of like really cool vehicle action and yeehaws and all that sort of thing. So yeah, I was kind of getting those vibes from all of that.
There's a
Yeah.
great moment in the comics where Thundercracker becomes a GI Joe, and it's fantastic. Anyway,
Oh. The only problem with this compared to Transformers is the frame rate goes to shit several times, which is there's an air battle. We should probably spend the plot of this film is that the GI Joes have made what they call the Mercs system, which lets you. They basically made their thing into RC cars. The fact there isn't a toy which lets you do that from this line is surprising to me but yeah, then Cobra Command like we want that thing, we're going to do it. But despite having remote control ships, we still put our guys piloting them on the front lines where they can easily be punched and their helmets knocked off.
Checks out.
checks out.
Yeah. It's kind of weird because this is like 2003 G.I. Joe Drone Warfare, the movie, which
Well,
they were ahead of the curve.
or like at the crest of the of the wave. Yeah, it's right around that time.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, and then this whole thing is basically a fight. So we have G.I. Joe that they each have a spy in the other's ranks. They steer the magic MacGuffin of this helicopter gets stolen. G.I. Joe go, well, we can't have that, can we, lads? Let's go kick Cobra Commander a few times, and then he'll give up, and he lives to fight another day.
What I do want to talk a little bit, like at the end when oh god, I always forget Scott McNeil's character's name, and I just can't remember it.
Destro.
Um, Destro, yeah, when he not Destro, the other guy who is just like, oh my god, all my stuff got ruined, and Cobra Commander's like, just build another one.
Oh yes, Doctor Mindbender, the only G.I. Joe character designed by Tom of Finland. Uh, I went on his wiki page, and my god, it's a delight. He's an evil dentist. I
Yeah.
read his backstory. It's like he was a dentist who made something to make your teeth not hurt, but he used it on himself and it turned him evil for some reason. But
So so he's like Faust from like Guilty Gear.
yes, but somehow even more homoerotic because he.
Even
It is
more.
G.I. Joe.
So the funniest thing is, this is one of the comics apparently. Jack in the Serpator he was mentioning at the end they dropped.
Yeah.
That's the thing in the comics, not from this line, but it's like his replacement for Cobra Commander is this giant monster thing. So he builds it with all the DNA from all the world's greatest leaders, but he can't get Sun Tzu's DNA to teach it patience. So he takes the next best option after Sun Tzu. 1980s WWF champion Sergeant Slaughter.
Yeah.
I am not making this up. You can go and look at it yourself. But for some reason, if you can't get Sun Tzu, next in line is the guy who jobs to Hulk Hogan.
I love 80s properties so much, and this is why. Like, complete tangent, but like G.I. Joe and G.I. Joe, He-Man, Thundercats, all that kind of. I love the high camp nonsense of all of it. And G.I. Joe, I say this and I know it's going to be controversial. I feel like G.I. Joe is why a lot of people became drag queens. And here's my thought. Like, the characters in GI Joe are very campy and they're very big and their costumes are very big, and I think that there were a lot of at the time male identifying kids who were handed GI Joes, saw this and were like, I could do that but better and with more glitter. And that's what happens when GI Joe and She-Ra Princess of Power meet in the middle, and I think that is what caused a lot of the boom. Like, that's my conspiracy theory.
Has anyone on Drag Race used the name Cobra Commander yet? It feels natural, so someone must have done it. If I'm thinking of it, someone must have already done so.
Somebody has to have done it.
There has to have been like so many drag baronesses and Miss Scarlets at this point.
I love the Baroness, especially in this. I love her because, one, I guess she would have the cool glasses, but they're so chunky in this, they look like prescription.
Yeah.
But I also love they keep her being like the Russian Soviet spy in 2003. So it makes her like the funniest Twitter laugher ever. It's like, what, you're in your mid-30s? You weren't alive when the wall fell. Come on.
I mean, by all technicalities, the Cold War only ended was only officially ended in 91. So
she gets in. She's grandfathered into Lenin's grand plan. But it's
Oh
just so
yeah.
funny that she's there, like, yes, Russia. I also
inglorious homeland.
I also love my favorite in this whole thing is Wild Bill, who is just American.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's Wild Bill and high tech. It's like the massive cowboy and his pet nerd.
Which you can tell by the mustache, really. The facial hair is the giveaway.
It's American facial hair.
It's kind of weird he gets the most screen time. There's a weird thing in this film that there must have been a change at some point, because Wild Bill gets the most screen time in this entire film. He
Yeah.
gets all the big moments, but the film came with the two ninjas
Who don't get a lot of screen time, frankly.
who get the world's worst high-speed fight where it's moving at 3 frames. They try and do they sort of like the Kabuto flying Crash Like Hidden Dragon thing of, oh, we're moving so fast, you just see the impacts, but it's running at 3 frames per second, so you can clearly see it's like the world's slowest fight. But yeah, they're all over the marketing to the point the original Toonami promo says that Cobra have stolen something. Snake Eyes has to infiltrate the base and get it back. It's like,
Yeah, it
he
was kind of a
doesn't.
shocker how there was no Snake Eyes in this. Like, this was made for him. It felt like.
I was so surprised that Snake Eyes is a Joe. Because Snake Eyes is such a heel name. Storm
You didn't know
Shadow is the
Snake
name.
Eyes was a Joe?
Yeah. Did you think Storm Shadow was a Joe? And like,
Yeah, I presume so, because Storm Shadow sounds like a My Little Pony. That
Yeah,
if I'm thinking
yes.
someone's good, Storm Shadow's kind of like, yeah, come on, guys, let's go surfing. While Snake Eyes is like, it's like, oh, gambling evilness.
I think that was like kind of part of the goal with those two characters. Like, you have like the ninja in all white, but he's a bad guy, and then
Well,
you
and
have the ninja.
I've had the pleasure of interviewing Larry Hama, who writes this and wrote a lot of the formative GI Joe comics and lore in the 80s, and kind of his stealth long-term goal was to turn a Storm Shadow into a sympathetic character, basically kind of redeem him over the course of that run. Not that we really get any of that here.
Well, we kind of get that, because I like when they first meet for their sword fight, Storm Shadow does the very nice thing of explaining his entire backstory to the man who already knows it.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
our clan. He's like, Snake Eyes should be like, yeah, mate, I was there.
Hey, man. Hey, I'm just throwing it out here. We've all been anime fans for a long time. If you're not explaining your plan, like, what are we doing?
Oh,
Or your origins, yeah.
I should be mocking. I was so happy when they had the intro sequence that listed off everybody's name and who they're aligned to. Because someone who doesn't know GI Joe, I was like, oh, this is going to save me so much time.
Yeah.
Spoon feed me.
Spoon feed me GI Joe lore.
We got to fill this to be 45 minutes. So let's
with
do
lots of new metal.
Yeah.
I did like when they had their fake Cobra Commander, and they had freaking his name isn't Shore Leave. Oh my god. Why do I keep thinking his name is Shore Leave?
Is it Shipwreck? I think.
Yeah.
Is it?
It is.
It's
some
nautical pun.
Yeah.
It's Shipwreck, not Shore Leave. Okay, but like I love that whole sequence with the parrot, and then all the crackers being brought. It's so dumb, but I'm so happy that the movie had time for that nonsense. You know what the movie makes time for nonsense, and I appreciate that.
Oh wait, his name's Beachhead.
That's worse than Shore Leave.
Oh yeah.
It was in my head. I was like, no, that's a very bad. That's a Tom of Finland thing. No.
Yeah. But Shipwreck is in this movie too.
Don't they mention him as like someone? Because a couple of guys get mentioned as like other people's dads.
Beachhead? His name is Beachhead?
Apparently, Matt Hill plays a character called Beachhead. Well, there's Beachhead and Shipwreck. I got to find pictures of them. I'll get back to you.
Get back to me.
I'm looking this up, and I'm the one who doesn't know anything about G.I. Joe.
Yeah, you do get two maritime characters.
But I don't think we see one of them at all.
Shipwreck's in it.
Is he?
Yeah. I don't know how. I'm trying to. I don't know how.
I just remember a parrot and like a bunch of crackers and Cobra Commander losing his mind.
Shipwreck is the one with the parrot, but
Yeah.
in his official pictures, he dresses like a member of the Village People. Got it. Then who is Beachhead in this?
They all dress like members of the Village People.
Beachhead is just a guy with a balaclava on.
Yeah. Yeah. Who looks like he should be a Cobra, frankly.
He looks like a terrorist. Yeah.
Yeah.
He the default ones in Counter Strike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have that.
But yeah, we had a lot of nonsense in this movie, and I like nonsense. So that's really what this movie gave me was
We did.
nonsense.
We could. I like the weird little hang gliders the Joes have. So let's leave our stealth fighters to go hang gliding. We're lucky no one in his army can shoot straight.
Yeah.
I, I get big Top Gun vibes from a lot of GI Joe content, and this gave me a lot of Top
Are
Gun
you sure
vibes.
that's not the homoeroticism?
I
It
mean
could be both. It
it's
could
the
be both.
homoeroticism with the super jingoistic backdrop.
Playing with the boys. Sorry.
Uh,
That's where they both kind of,
It's the
collide.
overlap. That's
Yeah.
the Venn diagram of GI Joe and Top Gun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jingoism and
Every time
homoerotic.
Beachhead's like I like he's because he does that a lot. He's kind of the hype guy, I think, in this movie. He's always like cheering them on, like, that was awesome. You just took out a line of like tanks. Awesome. You know, he's totally that's
I,
what's going on there.
I love that for him.
talking of characters, what I like is what character you see for a brief moment is Flint,
Yes.
who is his character is just he's an old actual World War II soldier who doesn't fight anymore. He's like their warrant officer. And you can get a toy of Flint with this tape. And like one idea is like, hey kids, do you want the cool characters or do you want your granddad?
I kind of want that toy. I don't know why.
It's just the friend I was watching had the Flint toy as a kid, and they were like, yeah, he's just like all the other guys, like, oh, I have all magic powers, and Flint just like, I have a gun.
Yeah.
It's got
I
me
have a
old
gun.
service rifle.
He have a gun. I have a gun, and I personally shot Hitler. Like,
Yeah. I think the guy that voiced him did a bunch of like ocean, because again, this is like a Canadian production. I think did a lot of like ocean Dragon Ball dubbing, or at least a couple of the characters over there.
there were
Um,
some familiar voices here,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, I think so.
and of
So
course Scott McNeil, like we talked about, just
Oh, good old
Piccolo
Scott.
in the original dub,
doing
yeah.
his Wolverine voice for Destro, by the way, which was wild to realize.
That kind of worked though.
It did.
He
It's
looks like the
better
type of
than
guy who would speak like that.
Do you remember who plays Destro in Rise of Cobra?
Who?
Christopher Eccleston.
Are you
Oh
serious?
right, yes, because that was just after he left Doctor Who, wasn't it? And then he had to
It
go
was
to America.
it was in like within 2 or 3 years, yeah. So he
Man,
probably yeah. Call me and he's Scottish too in that. Just call me Destro.
Destro. Is it weird? Okay, we all know I have bad taste. I actually like Rise of Cobra. I actually like the live action GI Joe movies because they're so bad. But
I like the
basically,
second one. I like the second one.
the second one's actually pretty good.
I enjoy the second one.
I I like them all because of how weird they all are and how insane. Again, the audience already knows. I like things that are universally reviled.
Well,
What was your
the first GI Joe live action was made during the writers' strike, which is why it's so weird because they couldn't like refine scripts or anything. They had to just add
Yeah.
action scenes because they're choreographers, not writers.
Yeah, which is also why a lot of them I think are in slow motion to pad out the time.
It was also very big
Ah,
at the time. Like
Yeah.
everybody wanted to
It was
do Max Payne
2008.
bullet time.
to quote
Yeah.
Dark Place, any scene available was made longer with slow motion.
Yeah. What was your gateway into G.I. Joe?
Me?
Just all to both of you.
What about you, John? What was your gateway into GI Joe?
I didn't have one. So
This
we did have GI Joe in the UK,
Yeah.
but in the late 80s. By the time I was born, it kind of died out. I can't remember the full story. For some reason, GI Joe was renamed to Action Man in the UK. I believe it was because we don't have the term GI. Well,
Yeah.
most British kids, you only hear GI when your grandmother was talking about the lovely young Americans who came to the village during the war and helped during the Blitz.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't. But yeah, we had Action Man, which was a similar idea, but like I'm gonna put this up now. The funny thing about Action Man is for like the first 10 years, all the figures had the same face. So it was just one dude cosplaying as an army.
No.
Army
But
of One.
then I've just over the years I've picked up bits and bobs from pop culture, like obviously all the Robot Chicken kind of stuff and all the Family Guy references. So I know Cobra is evil, Joe is good. Yeah, good fights evil. Evil seems to win, but then good sweeps in with the power of automatic weaponry.
Yes.
I I grew up in the kind of household where you didn't know if it was 1999 or 1949. So I had GI Joes growing up because again, not only did I grow up in a different time period, I grew up gender confused. But the I liked GI Joe a lot. I watched the old cartoon. My grandfather was a World War II vet, and so hats off to you, George Speth. I miss you every day. But he liked GI Joe and he liked the cartoons, and we would read. And when he had the comic and card shop, we would read the comics. So that was in the same category as Transformers, where I was in because of the generational differences in my household and because we were all kind of mushed together. I, as a '90s kid, had a very '80s upbringing.
Sure. Sure.
It's
So
paying off here.
Hasbro loved you guys.
Oh my god, Hasbro loved my household. Like we had when my grandfather could get stuff that would fall off the truck, like it was game over. And we had a lot of stuff fall off the truck around us.
Yeah, yeah.
How
So,
about you, Sam?
did you
What
get
got
G.I. Joe?
what was GI Joe gateway?
So I was more familiar with G.I. Joe than Transformers growing up, for whatever reason. You know, I think my parents, when they were like shopping for toys for some Christmas or birthday, they were probably like, just grab one. And the weird vehicle turning into a robot was probably more, knowing my parents, was probably considerably more expensive than a Cobra Commander action figure. So, you know, I had like Cobra Commander and Duke and Destro figures growing up. It was those little like Kenner toys kind of figures where they're not really full on like heavy action figures. They're the little kind of like flimsy limbed action
I
figures.
had those. Those were the ones I had.
Yeah, so I that's kind of my gateway. The thing is I didn't really watch same thing with Transformers. I didn't really watch either show until like way later. I just had the toys, so I knew something about the mythos from like the packaging and that sort of thing. And it's very clear with G.I. Joe, kind of like Transformers to a degree, like who's the good guys and who's the bad guys. And the bad guys always look cooler.
Yeah.
Skeletor is cooler than He-Man. Let's be real.
Yeah,
You
he's a
know.
He was his
skeleton.
uncle. Fun
Yeah, he's a
fact.
jacked skeleton.
He's a jacked skeleton who is also blood related to He-Man. The He-Man lore is crazy. Just like how GI Joe lore is crazy.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I do love Cobra Commander. I think Cobra Commander is kind of the best GI Joe character and kind of always has been because of the voice. Because
Like
fun
Skeletor.
like Skeletor. But the fun fact, the original Cobra Commander shared a voice actor with Starscream
Yeah.
in the Transformers show. And that kind of continued up until that voice actor's death. And it I always really liked how unique it was for a like leading baddie to be up here in his screechy voice. Like I always really liked that. So I like how the characters are, and I like Cobra Commander a lot. I've always wanted to cosplay Cobra Commander.
I was getting this what this made me realize is that X the Eliminator from Harvey Birdman Attorney at Law is basically just like middle-aged Cobra Commander.
Yep. Yep. The Eliminator.
I will grab your crest, Birdman.
The
It's true.
crest.
It's true here. Cobra Commander is the most interesting character because he actually just chews scenery. The biggest thing I think of this film, apart from the frame rate, is that the Joes are quite boring. Apart from Wild Bill, who is also just weird. I kind of hope we get more weirdness. Actually, before we can I bring up one thing about this film that really bothered me?
Sure.
Yes.
So this is G.I. Joe, this is 80s cartoon, so all of our guns are laser guns. The only ships that explode are one with nobody in them, and we confirm that to you. There is one piece of actual real world military hardware mentioned in this film, and it's white phosphorus. When the one guy is cooking, he throws a grenade on the grill and says, "Oh, it might taste of white phosphorus." This throws me because here's the thing, right? White phosphorus is legal as a smoke producing agent, but it causes horrific burns to skin. Do not Google it. It's a horrible thing to the point that Article 1 of Protocol 3, the Convention on Certain Conventional Weapons, basically they cannot be used as incendiary devices anywhere near civilian targets. It is a war crime. Like Geneva Convention covers incendiaries on civilians, straight to the Hague, straight on the gallows next morning, mate. So it's so weird of all the things that we are going to like push away from the war thing. Like people can get hit and it's fine. Punches are doing anything. we're going to bring up a weapon that is very controversial and has been used for absolute horrors for a one-off gag where it doesn't matter. They could have just said it will taste of
That's
gunpowder.
Yeah.
crazy.
I don't think any kid would know what Willie Pete is, right?
Yeah.
Like, no, no one. Like, it's just like the most random.
Especially because he's using it to cook. He's not using it to produce smoke. So 100% that's an incendiary grenade. So he's walking around with something that is technically a crime. If he has that anywhere near civilians.
Like, that's so wild to use as a one-off joke because it just makes me think of Spec Ops: The Line when you drop white phosphorus on a whole group of civilians and walk through it.
It's like the pivotal moment in that game.
Yeah, that's the moment in that game where everything goes like to hell.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Like, it's just funny. We can't even even the guys when they fight, the two ninjas, they don't ever make contact with their swords. So we can't even have, and their armor, so we can't even have it like grate off the armor or something like sparks. But no, white phosphorus, okay.
Yeah.
War crimes.
GI crimes.
Yeah.
GI crimes. But
little Henry asking what white phosphorus is to his parents.
Daddy, what's the Geneva Convention?
What's white phosphorus?
Can we go to the Hague this summer?
Can we go to the
white
Hague
phosphorus?
Also, one final thing, Toonami promos for this. They had two because this was before and after. They had one before Tom and one after Tom. They use the same script.
Oh.
Like, they both start with G.I. Joe has some new technology, but Cobra wants it too, and they just had Tom re-record it. Except on the original one before Tom, the guy at the end goes, "Yo, Joe,"
Yo, Joe,
just out of nowhere. It's like, what the hell?
Yeah.
I love that. But yeah, final thoughts, my friends.
I mean, it's like I say, it's of an era. It reminds me of a lot of the Transformer stuff we've covered, and at least the animation is better than Tony Hawk's Boom Boom Sabotage. You know, it's of its time.
Yeah, this isn't of all sort of these weird ones we've done. This isn't the worst by a mile. It's not amazing. I wouldn't say it's like saying you've got to go and buy the 2-pack to get it on DVD for the highest quality. It is saved by being 40 minutes. It's not long enough for you to really care. I do like how I think, unlike everything else, it does capture the feeling of a kid smashing their action figures together. Like, I can totally see how a kid would like this. It does feel like a kid playing, which is fine. Yeah, I wish the frame rate was better. But if I was told, gun to my head, this or Tony Hawk again, I would say this twice.
Yeah. I would embrace the cult.
Pull the trigger.
You would embrace the void. I like campy stuff. I like campy stuff. If you like campy stuff and you got 40 minutes to spare, this is not the worst way you can spend 40 minutes. I can think of worse ways. Apparently Sam cannot. But yeah, I did enjoy it. I enjoyed how weird and campy it is. I might dig through and see if I can find some more stuff from that line just to see what else they made. But that does mean that we've pulled into our final destination. That's right, it is time to disembark from Toonami Absolution. We want to thank you once again for joining us and talking about the shows that made us us and the shows that made you you. We have been your hosts. My name is Alyx.
I'm Sam.
And I'm John.
And we'll see you next time. Bang.
Oh, brah!
Go, Joe!
Joe.
Go, Joe!